draining your wallet. And you don't even notice it? Picture this. You walk in for a 6-pack of tomatoes. And you walk out $60 lighter, holding a few tiny plants you could have grown yourself for less than $2. It happens to every new gardener, and it happened to me too. But here's the thing. Once you learn how to start seeds right on your own kitchen counter, you'll never go back to paying premium prices for something nature is more than willing to hand you for almost nothing. Starting seeds indoors is one of the most empowering and budget-friendly things you can do as a home gardener. Not only does it give you a massive head start on the growing season, but it also puts you in complete control of what goes into your soil, what varieties you grow, and how much you spend. A single packet of heirloom tomato seeds costs around $2 to $4 and contains 30 to 50 seeds. That same $30 could buy you just 4 or 5 seedlings at a nursery. The math practically does the work for you. The good news is that you don't need a greenhouse, a grow tent, or a fancy setup to get started. Your kitchen counter, a few supplies, and a little consistency are all it takes to go from a tiny seed to a thriving transplant. Let's walk through everything you need to know, from setting up your space to troubleshooting the problems that trip up beginners most often. The first thing you need is a growing medium, and this is where a lot of beginners make their first mistake. Garden soil from your backyard is too heavy and dense for germinating seeds indoors. It compacts quickly in small containers and suffocates tender roots before they even get a chance. Instead, reach for a high-quality seed starting mix, which is lightweight, well-draining, and specifically designed to give delicate seedlings the airy environment they need. You can find these at most hardware stores or garden centers, and a single bag goes a long way. Fill your seed trays or small cells, about 3/4 full. Gently press the mix down so there are no air pockets, and then plant your seeds according to the depth listed on the packet. A general rule of thumb is to plant seeds about 2 to 3 times as deep as they are wide. Tiny seeds like basil or lettuce barely need to be buried at all. Just press them gently into the surface. Now let's talk about light, because this is genuinely the make-or-break factor for indoor seed starting. Seeds themselves don't need light to germinate, they need warmth. But the moment those first tiny sprouts push through the soil, light becomes their entire world. Insufficient light is the #1 reason beginner gardeners end up with leggy, weak, flopping seedlings that never quite recover. A south-facing window can work if you live somewhere with long, bright winter days, but for most Americans in most climates, a simple grow light positioned 2 to 4 inches above your seedlings is the most reliable solution. You don't need to spend a fortune. A basic LED grow light strip costs around $20 to $30 and will last for years. Set it on a timer for 14 to 16 hours of light per day, which closely mimics the long summer days your plants are expecting. Temperature matters just as much as light during germination. Most vegetable and flower seeds germinate best when the soil temperature sits between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. If your kitchen is on the cooler side, a seedling heat mat placed under your trays can dramatically improve germination rates and speed. Once your seeds have sprouted and are actively growing, you can remove the heat mat and let them grow at normal room temperature, though they still prefer it to stay above 60 degrees. Avoid placing your seed trays near drafty windows, air vents, or exterior walls. Cold drafts are stressful to young plants and can stunt their growth significantly. Watering is where even experienced gardeners sometimes go wrong, and getting it right is crucial to developing strong, healthy root systems. The goal is to keep the seed starting mix consistently moist, but never soggy. Overwatering is far more damaging than underwatering in the early stages. Waterlogged soil leads to oxygen deprivation in the roots and creates the perfect conditions for a destructive fungal disease called damping off, which causes seedlings to suddenly collapse at the soil line as if they've been cut. To avoid this, water from the bottom whenever possible. Place your seed trays in a shallow tray of water. Let the mix absorb moisture through the drainage holes for about 20 to 30 minutes. Then remove it and let any excess drain. This encourages roots to grow downward in search of moisture, which builds a stronger, deeper root system from the very start. Check your trays daily by pressing a finger about an inch into the mix. If it feels dry, it's time to water. If it still feels cool and moist, give it another day. Once your seedlings have developed their first true leaves, the second set of leaves that appear after the initial seed leaves, it's time to think about fertilizing. At this stage, the nutrients in your seed starting mix are beginning to run low, and your plants are growing fast enough that they genuinely need a boost. A diluted liquid fertilizer works beautifully here. Look for a balanced formula such as a 10-10-10 or a fertilizer specifically labeled for seedlings, and use it at half the recommended strength. Too much fertilizer on young plants causes fertilizer burn, which shows up as yellowing or browning leaf edges. Feed every 7 to 10 days, and you'll see noticeably deeper green color and stronger stems in return. Pruning might seem counterintuitive when your seedlings are still tiny, but a small snip at the right moment makes an enormous difference. If you have multiple seedlings sprouting in the same cell, resist the urge to pull out the extras. Instead, use small scissors to snip the weakest ones at the soil level. This is called thinning, and it ensures the strongest seedling in each cell gets all the available nutrients, water, and light without competition. As your plants grow taller, if you notice any yellowing or damaged lower leaves, pinch them off cleanly to improve airflow around the base of the plant and reduce the risk of disease. Now let's address the problems that send beginners into a panic. Leggy seedlings that stretch tall and thin toward the light are almost always caused by insufficient light. Move your grow light closer or increase daily light hours. Yellow leaves most often signal overwatering or a nitrogen deficiency. White crusty deposits on the soil surface are typically mineral buildup from tap water. Switch to filtered or rainwater and reduce fertilizer frequency. White fuzzy growth on the soil is mold, a sign that airflow around your trays is too low and moisture is too high. A small fan set on low nearby works wonders. And if your seedlings wilt despite moist soil, check for damping off and immediately improve drainage and air circulation. The final step before moving your seedlings outdoors is hardening off. A critical process that most beginners skip entirely, and then wonder why their transplants look shocked or die after being moved outside. Hardening off simply means gradually introducing your indoor-grown plants to outdoor conditions over the course of 7 to 10 days. Start by setting them outside in a sheltered, shaded spot for just an hour or two during the warmest part of the day, then bring them back inside. Each day, increase the outdoor time and gradually expose them to more direct sun. By the end of the process, they'll be spending full days outside and are ready to be transplanted to your garden bed or containers without stress. What you've just learned is the complete system, from seed to transplant, that professional growers use every single season. The difference is that they charge you nursery prices for the work. When you start seeds at home, you pocket those savings, you choose exactly what you want to grow, and you build the kind of deep gardening knowledge that makes every season better than the last. One packet of seeds, a recycled yogurt cup, a $10 grow light from the hardware store. That is genuinely all you need to grow more food and flowers this season than you ever thought possible on a kitchen counter. Are you ready to stop handing your money to the nursery and start growing your own seedlings at home? Grab a seed packet this week, any vegetable or flower you love, and give this method a try. Start with just one tray. Watch what happens when you water from the bottom. Give those seedlings 14 hours of light a day and feed them gently with diluted fertilizer. You will be amazed at what grows. Drop a comment below and tell us what you're starting first. We'd love to cheer you on. And if this helped you feel more confident about seed starting, share it with a friend who's been on the fence about growing their own garden this year. If you love learning about seasonal flowering plants, vegetables, gardening tips, and nature care, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Nature Nurture Hub, your home for year-round garden inspiration. Let's keep growing together.